This video is for the lesson 7.7 homework. We are doing quadratic equation word problems today. All right, so the good thing about this, the way I set this up is these questions are real similar. So like I'm going to do this one and then this one's going to be real similar to it, okay? So number one, the length of a rectangle is 2 times its width. The area of the rectangle is 72 square inches. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So we know that we've got a rectangle, okay? And then you start just writing down what we know. So we says the length is 2 times the width. So we know it's going to have a length. We know it's going to have a width. And we know the length equals 2 times the width. Okay? The next one says the area is 72 square inches. So the area of this rectangle is 72. How do we find the area of a rectangle? What's the formula for the area of a rectangle? What? Area equals length times width. Okay. So the dimensions. The dimensions are the length and the width. They're wanting us to find the 2 side lengths. So we can use everything that we know here. Okay? So using this base formula, area equals length times width, I can swap out pieces here. So I know the area is 72. I know the length is 2W, so instead of writing that L, I'm going to write 2W instead, and then the width. So the reason I do that, if I've got an equation with just one letter, I can solve for that letter. I can't do it with 2 letters, okay? So 72 equals, so 2W times W is 2W squared. Okay, and I can solve this. This is a quadratic equation. It may not look like it, but if I start moving pieces around here, so I got a 0 over here, and then I've got 2W squared minus 72. This is an A value. This is a C value. Okay, so I can do quadratic formula. Negative B. B's a 0. If you don't have a B value, if you don't have just a plain old letter, it's a 0 wherever you have a B. Plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4. A is a 2. C is a negative 72. Over 2A. I've actually got another option though. Okay. I can take this quadratic equation that I made. So you at least have to be able to make the quadratic equation. And I can graph it. So I have to do x. I can't do 2w. So 2x squared minus 72. Where this thing crosses, those are my 2 solutions. So I can do menu 6, 1. I can do this with any quadratic. I can graph it and I can do menu 6, 1. And it gives you these bars. So you're trying to capture the 0 or the x-intercept. There's typically 2 of them. There can be only 1. But there's my solutions. Negative 6 and positive 6. And I would get the same thing. If I solved this, I would get x equals negative 6 and x equals positive 6. But here's what makes these tricky because you have to pick. Because sometimes one doesn't work. And it's not even x, it's W, the width. So think about this in real terms. Can the width of a rectangle be negative 6? Can you ever measure? And this measurement on the ruler is going to say negative 6. No, you can't have negative measurements. So that can't be an answer. That means this one has to be my answer. That is my width. So if that's my width, I still have to find my length. My length is 2 times the width. So if the width is 6, what's the length? 12. Please don't panic over these. Okay? I get it. All right. the dimensions of a picture inside of a frame, inside a frame of uniform width are 12 by 16 inches. So I've got a picture, right? Here's my picture. Put a little stick person in there. 12 by 16. If the whole area of the picture and the frame is 480 inches squared, what is the width of the frame? Okay, so if this thing has a frame on it, okay, and the whole area of that is 480. It says, what's the width of the frame? So I got to find the distance from here to here. Okay, so think about a picture frame. This picture is 12 by 16. The area of the whole thing is 480. It wants to know this distance from here to here. Okay? So, here's what we can do. It says it's a uniform width, meaning the distance from here to here is the same as the distance from here to here. Okay? So let me get a different color. So to find if the area of the whole thing is 480, I need the length, I need the whole length, and I need the whole width. So the length here is the 16 inches of the picture, and then we don't know this amount. So what do we use if we don't know an amount? X. So this would be an X, and this would be an X, because remember, it's the same. The width is the same. So the length here is 16 plus X plus X. So that's my length. Length equals 16 plus X plus X. So what do you think if the width of the picture is 12, what's the width of the frame going to be? Because same deal, it's got the same width here and the same width here. So if the length is 16 plus X, what's the width this way going to be? And I can rewrite those as 2X plus 16, 2X's positive 16, 2X plus 12. All right, so area. Same deal. Area equals length times width. Area is 480. Length is 2X plus 16. Width is 2X plus 12. Not quite a quadratic yet. So we're going all the way back to last unit. We have to FOIL this. I want to try something though. I just want to try. Let's see if this works. We know if we're going to graph it, right? We got to get all the pieces over here. How would I get this piece over here? Subtract it, right? So here's what I want to try. Because here's what's really cool about your calculator too. Your calculator, when it graphs, it'll simplify stuff for you. So I'm going to try to just type this in where I don't have to simplify it by hand. I just want to use the rough. This is what I know. These are the pieces. So 2X plus 16, 2X plus 12, and let's put all of that in parentheses because we know that's got to get multiplied first before we subtract the 480. Okay, I can only see one line, but remember, it should be a U, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So to zoom on these, it's menu and 4, and out is 4 again. So kind of zoom out. There we go. I want to be able to see those two places where it crosses. So menu 6-1. Check this one. And then check the other one. All right. So X can either equal negative 18 or X can equal 4. So X is representing this distance here. Can this distance be negative 18 inches? No, you can't have a distance that's negative 18. So we know the width of that frame is 4 inches, and it can only be 4 inches. Those are probably some of the hardest ones. Those mess me up. Anything where it's doing like a box and then like sometimes it's a sidewalk around the box or, you know, sidewalk. I don't know. For me, those are the toughest ones. All right. The product of two consecutive negative odd integers is 99. Find the integers. What does product mean? I'm multiplying them. So I'm going to pick x times y, and it says the product is 99. So I'm going to take two numbers, I'm going to multiply them together, they're going to equal 99. But it's even more specific than that. It says two consecutive negative odd integers. So first off, give me an odd number. 3. 3 is an odd number, right? So what would be the next consecutive odd number? 5, right? So if they need to be negative, right? So -3 and -5 are consecutive odd integers. So if I make -3 my x, what do I have to do to -3 to make it a -5? X plus what value would give me a -5? So -3 plus what value would give me a -5? -2. So x plus -2 or x minus 2. So those are my consecutive integers. Say it said just two consecutive numbers, 2 and 3, right? 2 would be x, 3 would be x plus 1, the next number. Okay? In this case, we can use this, x minus 2. So it means x times x minus 2 equals 99. Okay? We're going to move the 99 over to this side, so we've got x times x minus 2 minus 99 equals 0. All right, we can graph it. Woo. 2 minus 99. Cannot accept what I do. Well, try that again. Okay, x minus 2 minus 99. So it's not going to take that one, which means I have to work it out. So I have to distribute this x. So x times x is x squared. X times -2 is -2x. And then minus 99. There's my quadratic. Whoop. X squared minus 2x minus 99. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. Menu 6-1. Here and here. Whoop. All right. It means x can equal -9 or x can equal 11. So which one, which is the one that I want? If my two numbers are negative, which one do I have to pick? If I'm multiplying two negatives together, which answer do I have to pick? I want the negative. So -9 is one answer. And then the next odd number, 9, 10, would be 11. All right, number 7. The product of the ages of Elena and Thomas is 80 more than the product of their ages 4 years prior. If Alan is 4 years older than Terry, that should say Elena, and that should be Thomas. Sorry. What are their current ages? All right, product is multiplication, right? So if I multiply Elena's age times Thomas's age, it's 80 more than the product of their ages 4 years prior. So if you're 14 now, how old were you 4 years ago? How'd you do that mathematically? You subtracted 4, right? So 80 more than the product of their ages 4 years ago. So if I do Elena minus 4 years times Thomas minus 4 years, that's the product of their ages 4 years ago. This is equal to 80 more than this. So 80 more, mathematically, how do you do that? 80 more. Adding 80, right? So that's technically my equation. AT plus 80 equals this. A minus 4, T minus 4. But remember what I told you, we can't solve with all those different letters in there. So hopefully they give us some more information. So this should be Elena. If Elena is 4 years older than Terry, Zach's 14. If Alex is 4 years older, how old is Alex? If Zach is 14 and Alex is 4 years older, 18. So how did you do that? You added 4. So Elena plus 4. No. Backwards. If Elena is 4 years older than Terry, Elena equals Thomas plus 4. Okay. And then we can go and we can plug this in anywhere we see an A. So we can do T plus 4 times T plus 80 equals T minus 4 T minus 4. And write these big, huge equations out and solve them. I don't think there's an age question on the test. I'm really hoping there's not now because I don't like this question. If there is, I could probably be convinced to make it bonus. That's as far as I'm going to go on that one. All right, last one I'm going to do, because this comes up occasionally, and because I don't teach this. The last time you see this is in 8th grade. Number 9, one leg of a right triangle is 1 inch shorter than the other leg. So we've got a right triangle. Here's my right triangle. Do y'all remember the sides? Which sides are the legs and which side's the hypotenuse?
No.
Do you know though? Do you remember which ones are the legs? Do you know? Which ones are the legs? So here's how I taught my 8th graders. Find the ones that make the L. L for legs. Here's the L. So this is a leg, this is a leg, this is a hypotenuse. Okay, here we go. One leg is 1 inch shorter than the other one. So this leg, if it's shorter, we're subtracting 1. The hypotenuse is 5 inches. Find the length of the shorter leg. That's this one. Do y'all remember Pythagorean theorem from 8th grade from last year? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's what we're doing. So A, we're going to use an L instead. B is L minus 1 squared. C squared, what's 5 squared? 25. And then I can L minus 1 squared is L minus 1 times L minus 1. L times L is L squared. Negative L, positive 1. Again, this is from last unit. So I've got L squared plus L squared minus 2L plus 1 equals 25. I can combine these and make it 2L squared minus 2L. If I move this, I'm going to subtract this 25, and I've got an equation. Okay? I can solve it with the graph. Two x squared minus 2x minus 24 min u 6, 1 min u 6, 1. All right. Negative 3 and negative 4. Which can be a side length? Negative 3 or negative 4? 4, right? That's L. What's the length of the shorter leg then? If L is 4 and this side is L minus 1, what's the length of this side? 3. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do on this page. And for all you kiddos that are not here today, the same goes for you guys. I know these are difficult. So here's what I'm going to do. Everything on here is going to count as bonus on the test tomorrow to practice these. There are a couple of word problems on the test tomorrow. But this page, there's not going to be a quiz over this. If you turn it in like this, you're going to get 100 for the day. If you want to go through and you want to try to work this right-hand side for everyone you get right, I'll do 2 bonus points on the test tomorrow. Okay? So that's worth 10 bonus points on the test tomorrow in addition to everything else. Okay? But as long as you have these 4 questions answered, you've got 100 for the day. Does that make sense? Okay.